こんにちは。
はい、こんにちは。
Konnichiwa, Sensei.
こんにちは。
わかります。
はい。
Konnichiwa, Sensei.
はい、こんにちは。I think that was
こんに
Ohio
ちは、ma'am.
earlier. はい、こんにちは。
こんにちは、先生。
こんにちは。どうぞ。Hi, everybody who's joining us online, please remember to leave your videos on. Yes, great.
こんにちは、先生。
はい、こんにちは。
Konnichiwa.
こんにちは。Yes, videos on, please. はい。では、始めます。ね。So I'd like to request everyone here to stand up. We'll follow the custom, right? So you first stand. You have to stand up, and then we do ojiki, right? That is to bow, and we can say the greeting for the day. Hai, konnichiwa. Hai, arigatou gozaimasu. Dozo, you can sit. Hai, konnichiwa to everyone online as well.
Konnichiwa.
Hi, konnichiwa. Yes. So I was just talking to everyone here. Has everyone online as well had time to review hiragana this week? You can give a thumbs up if you were able to review. Yes, great. Fantastic. Yes. Fantastic. How many of you are at least 50% confident with hiragana? Yes, 50%. Good. More than 50%, say around 70, 75% confident with hiragana. Okay, excellent. Awesome. Very good to know. So as a target, I was just telling everybody here also, as a target, I would like everyone to get to 100% with hiragana by next weekend. Yes, we still have a few more things to learn about how to read in Japanese. So that is what we'll be looking at today. And tomorrow we will be doing typing. So by tomorrow, please have Japanese keyboard installed in your devices and have your device ready. So today we will be seeing how to read. There's a few more things, right? We'll see that. I'll give you another week so you can be 100% ready with hiragana. With katakana, by next weekend, try to be at least 70% or so. Yes, that can be your target. That would be your main homework for this first couple of weekends. It's to be confident with kana. As I was just telling everyone here, going forward in our classes, I will not be writing Japanese words using English alphabets on screen much, right? It's just in the very beginning, so you can get used to it. Once you know kana, you know Japanese script. So we don't need to rely on English. We won't be relying on English for the writing part. That's also going to help you get faster with reading hiragana and katakana over time. So that's the target. I hope everyone's ready. We're going to start today with a little bit of review. We'll do some reading, just some simple words on screen and matching some hiragana, katakana, things like that. And then we will go into the lesson part. Yes. Hi. Let me just pull this up. So first I want to do a small activity. I'll share the screen for that. And what you're going to do is you're going to see a hiragana on screen and you're going to have to match the corresponding katakana. So it'll be displayed in rows and columns. So maybe you can tell me which row and which one to the right or which one to the left, something like that. I'll share the screen just now so that the members online can also see. Okay. Is it visible to everyone online?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, let me hide this. All right, so we'll get started. It's basically a game, yes. You just have to tell me. There's going to be a kana displayed up here. You have to tell me which is the matching katakana. This will be hiragana. First, let's read it. What is this?
Who?
Fantastic. Who. So where is who here? Oh, it's a bit small. Try to make it big. Yeah.
Third one.
Third one, first column, third row. Yes? Awesome. Great. How do we read it? Excellent. May, right? And which is the correct? Wow, fantastic. May, that's correct. Yes. This one? Or is it this one?
The first one.
First one. Correct. Excellent. You can already recognize tsu and she apart. That's good.
Oh.
O.
Oh, third row. Last one. This one. First row. This one.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's one.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Hide this again. Okay. How do we read it? Ko, right?
Oh.
Ko. Which row?
Third row, second last one.
Second one?
Second last.
Second last. Perfect. Katakana ko, right? Yes.
Move.
Move.
Excellent. Good. This is mu, right? Ma, mi, mu. Mu. And which is mu here?
The first row, second one.
This one? This one or this one?
Second one, first one.
First row,
Second
second
row, first one.
Yes, fantastic. That's correct. This
No.
is?
No. No.
No. Yes. And which is katakana no?
Second row, fourth one.
Second row, 3, 4. That's all.
Fourth one.
This one? Yes, perfect. Great. Doing good.
E.
Excellent.
First row, first one. First
First
row,
row,
Second row, second one.
this is correct.
Second row,
This is-
second row, second.
O.
yeah, this is u, right? Of course, yes, that's correct. This is a.
Third row, first one.
Third row, first one.
Third row.
Third one, first one.
Excellent. A, yes.
Me.
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 Me. Fantastic.
Second row, last one.
Second row.
Last.
Last one.
Last one. Fantastic. Sa,
K.
First row, last.
K.
K,
First one, last one. First
This
row,
one?
last
First
one.
row, last.
Third row, first one.
this
Yeah.
is correct, right? K,
O. C.
yes.
T.
T,
Third row, first one.
third row, right? Excellent. We already saw that earlier, right? Awesome.
Wa.
Re or wa? Wa.
Wa.
Which is wa?
Third row, last one.
Very last one, right? Katakana wa. Excellent.
U.
U.
First row, first one.
Katakana u, right?
First row.
All right, let's try to go a little fast. We'll see if we can get all of them in 50 seconds. Chi,
Sa.
Chi.
sa.
Sa.
Which is it?
Sa.
This is sa.
Sa.
Katakana sa.
First row.
First row, last one.
Last one.
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct. Great. How do we read it?
Ma.
Ma.
Third row, first one.
Hmm.
Just 4 more. Let's try to get them.
Do.
First row, first row.
A.
A.
Fantastic. Getting quick answers. Now we just have a few, right?
She.
Yes.
First row, first row.
Very good. This?
Ta.
Second,
Ah.
first row. Yes.
Ah, that's okay. We're almost there. Yes. Well done. The last character was? Did anyone
Ta.
see it? Ta, right? The one that we were just about to answer was ta. Yes. Fantastic, everybody. Doing good? Yes. Is anyone feeling underconfident about hiragana? Yeah. We're going to practice a little just hiragana next. Okay. So I shared this spreadsheet. I hope everyone online can see this. Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yes.
So I shared this with everyone in Google Classroom in the last, I think on Wednesday, I posted it. So we're going to practice reading, but not from the spreadsheet. What I'm going to do is I will be pulling up a random one and you can try to read it out loud together. Yes, shall we do that? Okay. Yes. Oh, it's responding a bit slowly. I'm sorry.
Anuja-san, I have one other query.
Yes, yes, please.
Yes. Actually, so I also work in one of the Japanese MNC. So I just had a casual conversation with my colleague, and mostly the Japanese like the write and speak in hiragana and kanji, right?
Yes.
So why it is required? Because see, I honestly I would not able to devote any time this week because I was out of town. So, so it should be like I should be more focusing on the hiragana and kanji, or like why it is required to understand the kana for like for
Katakana,
working
right?
professional. Yeah, katakana. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can take a bit more time with katakana, it's okay. But the thing is, lately in Japan, they're using a lot of foreign words, especially as technology improves. Everybody's using computers and smartphones, and there's a lot of new things being invented, right? Devices and so on. So even in Japan, rather than using Japanese words for a lot of things, like the names of companies, you know, Twitter or X or whatever, they're going to be Facebook. They're using the English words for those things, and they write it in katakana. So for a functional use, when you start maybe messaging or emailing Japanese people, they might be using katakana to talk about English things rather than English. It depends on each person, actually. So it's better to know it. When you go to Japan, all the signboards, which are like if it's an English word, they might have it written in katakana. So it is less important than hiragana. That's definitely true. But it is also used every day. On an everyday basis, it's there in Japan. So it's better to learn. If you don't have the time, you can take a little more time with it. It's okay. But as far as possible, 100% with hiragana by next weekend. Katakana, you can try to take a bit more time. Is that okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's clarify my queries. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Hi. So yes, I'll just make this a bit bigger so everybody here can see it. Yes. Yes. So I'm just going to put in some random numbers here. We'll get, it'll pull up a word. And I'd like everyone to try to read the word together. Hi.
Umi.
Hi.
Umi.
Yes. So again, a gentle reminder about u sound. Yes. Umi, it's umi.
Umi.
Umi is the sea or ocean. How can you read it?
Kirin.
Kirin. Kirin.
Kirin.
Kirin.
Yes. Kirin. Yes.
Kirin.
Kirin is a giraffe.
Koneko.
Yeah.
Koneko.
Yes. Actually, the word neko without the ko in front, just neko is cat. If you put a ko in front, it becomes a kitten. Ko means child, actually. So koneko is a
Koneko.
kitten. The same applies for hi. What is it?
Inu.
Inu.
Right?
Inu.
Inu.
Inu. Yeah.
Inu.
Inu.
Hi. Nu. Yes. Again, the u sound, it's not inu, it's inu. Yes.
Inu.
So inu is a dog. A puppy is?
Koinu.
Inu.
Yes, fantastic. Wa? Is it wa?
Re.
Re?
Nezumi. Rezumi.
Great.
Re-
Nezumi.
Nezumi.
Nezumi. Hi. Again, that u sound, right? We have to be, it's not nezumi, it's nezumi.
Nazumi.
Hi. Nezumi is actually, they use the same word for both mouse and rat. So, nezumi. Ne? And interestingly, the word for color in Japanese is iro. Yes, iro. There are many names of colors in Japanese which are based on certain natural objects like flowers or animals and stuff. So for the color gray, they sometimes say nezumi iro. Nezumi iro. I'll write down iro just for your reference. Nezumi iro. Iro means color. So in front of that word, you might put in something to indicate a color of that particular object. Not everything. It's just for some things. So just for your knowledge. Yes? Yes.
Chizu.
Cheese.
Chizu.
Z, right?
Chizu.
Got that voicing mark. Chizu.
Shizu.
Chizu.
Shizu.
A map, right?
Hera. Hera.
Hera.
Heya.
Heya.
Hera.
Ya.
Heya.
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 Heya is a room,
Room.
like where we're standing right now.
Hashi.
Hashi.
Good. Hashi. Actually, there are two different hashis in Japanese. One refers to chopsticks, and the other refers to a bridge. Based on the context, you will know which is which. Yes, you're not going to talk about crossing chopsticks. You're not going to talk about walking on chopsticks. So mostly you'll know.
Mushi.
Mushi. Mushi.
Mushi.
Mushi. Yes.
Mushi.
It's a general term for any kind of insect. Mushi. Yes. Fantastic.
Rishi. Rishi.
Re.
Rekishi.
Rekishi.
Ratushi.
Rekishi.
Ratushi.
Rekishi.
Rekishi. It's the word for history, the subject history that we.
Ratushi.
Rekishi. Yes.
Ratushi.
Sorry, not 40, I'm 41.
Jikan.
Jikan. Jikan.
Jikan.
Khan.
Yes. Jikam. Ne?
Khan.
Time. Like I have time or I don't have time. Ne? Jikam.
Ran.
Very good.
Ram.
Ra. Yes. Ram.
Yeah.
The name of right? An orchid.
Watashi.
Watashi.
Ratashi.
Ta. She. Yes.
Ratashi.
Watashi.
Do we say that, what is the flower in Japanese?
Hana and Jan. Yeah.
Do we only say that to orchid or we say use it for every flower?
The word hana, which is the general word for flower, it's a general word. Any flower is hana. Then you have specific words for flowers like sakura for cherry blossoms or ran for orchids. But that being said, the most popular hana in Japan is cherry blossom. So people may assume you're talking about cherry blossom when you say hana. So if you want to be really specific, you can tell the name of the exact flower because that's their favorite one. That's the most popular and well-known one. So hana usually means cherry blossom. But It's a general word, actually, just like flower in English. Is it okay? 大丈夫ですか? Hi. So this is watashi. I, myself, me. Yes, we're going to be using this a lot. We already know this.
Mikan.
Mikan.
Mikan. Yes,
Mikan.
Mikan.
mikan. Fantastic.
Enpitsu.
Great. So you don't have to read this. If you know pencil, you should know now. Enpitsu. Yes. Enpitsu.
Karate.
It's obvious.
Karate.
Yes. Karate. Yes. Karate. Yes. So
Karate.
we can't say karate anymore. Now you know Japanese. You have to say karate. Yes. Kara means empty. Te means hand. So empty hand. Of course, they do use weapons also in some forms of karate. But the basic original form was you don't need anything except your body to protect yourself. Empty hand. Karate. Hi. We'll just do maybe a couple more.
One small question.
Yes.
In Japan, people also use a word called okudasai. What does it mean, madam? Okudasai.
Kudasai. Yes. When you ask someone to give you something or to do a favor for you, the end of that expression will be something kudasai. They also say, oh, kudasai. When we come to the grammar part, I'll explain that.
Okay.
So usually it's when you buy something, you might ask the shopkeeper something, oh, kudasai, please give me this. Or when you want them to do a favor for you, right? Can you please write this for me? Can you please call so-and-so for me? At that time, they might say kudasai.
Okay.
Hi, dozo. How can we read?
Yubiwa.
Yubiwa. Yes.
Yubiwa.
Yubiwa.
Yubiba.
Yubiwa is a ring.
Yubiwa.
Yubiwa. Ring. Fantastic. Daijoubu desu ka? Hiragana?
Daijoubu desu.
Hi, online. Great. Fantastic. Okay. So we'll just pause the review of the hiragana part here. I am going to do a couple more things before we go into today's lesson. Yes. Which is, again, just one more thing to review. We learned a lot of expressions last week, right? So just a small review of those expressions. Those, first up, do you remember the word for greeting?
Konnichiwa.
The word konnichiwa is used for hello or good day or something. But the word for greeting itself, the general term, is ojigi is that is bowing and showing respect. How can we read it?
Aisatsu.
Yes. Aisatsu. Aisatsu. Aisatsu is not just a word, it's a culture. Right? Everything begins with aisatsu. Hi. So what are these aisatsu?
What is it meaning?
Aisatsu means greeting. Greeting.
Aisatsu.
Aisatsu.
Aisasu.
Aisatsu.
Aisasu.
Hi. So let's quickly cover these basics.
But
yes?
one thing, ma'am, there's nothing called greeting, no? Because we'll say generally welcome, something like this, right? So can we use also?
Yes, yes. See, we won't use this word to greet someone. It's just the term. That's like the category to which all of these belong.
Okay.
So when you go to Japan, somebody might tell you, okay, let me just greet this person, or please greet them. They're new to this company. If they, at that time, they might use this kind of expression. Aisatsu shite kudasai. Please do a greeting. So it's not something you'll use actually to talk to someone, but maybe someone will instruct you to do aisatsu. But the actual expressions, we'll just quickly review those, shall we? What do you say to someone in the morning?
Konbawa.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu. In the noon or afternoon?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Yes, konnichiwa. Yes, sorry, got it. Konnichiwa. Yes. In the evening?
Konbanwa.
Konbanwa.
Konbanwa. At night?
Oyasumi nasai.
Oyasumi nasai.
Hi, oyasumi. Was there a question? I heard a sumimasen in between. What is sumimasen used for?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Excuse me or sorry, right? Sumimasen. Thank you.
Arigato
gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
If we want to be more emphatic, if we want,
Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
we can add domo in front to show more emphasis, right? Domo arigatou gozaimasu. And lastly, telling somebody, you're welcome.
Do itashimashita.
Yes. Do
Itashimashite.
mashite. Do itashimashite. You're welcome. But it's more common in Japanese culture. When you've done a favor when you've done somebody a favor, they say thank you. Rather than saying do itashimashite, a Japanese person is more likely to say yes. Iie. Iie. Or iie. No, not at all. It's no problem.
Iene.
Hi. Iie. Iie. What does iie mean?
No.
No. Right? Great. Fantastic. So with this, let's go into some new stuff. Yes, that's enough review. We're going to learn a few new things. The first thing to cover in this, and since we were talking about katakana, it's more relevant. Now, why are we using katakana in Japanese?
To use foreign words.
For foreign words, right? To write foreign words using Japanese script within Japanese sounds. But obviously, foreign words have sounds that Japanese does not, right? And there are some sounds that you just can't get around, right? So eventually what they did was in Japanese, they decided to include these sounds because they can make those sounds. Maybe they don't have native words with those sounds, but they can make it. So they added it in katakana so that they can use it for foreign words. An example of such a sound is she. Yes, she. She. How are we making this sound? Oh, sorry. Yes, how are we making it? How are we writing this? This is she, and in small size we're adding
A.
Yes, so they're kind of combining existing characters and making one new character for this purpose. She plus A, but it's a small a, which means it's contracting the vowel that comes before. This vowel is dropped and this vowel comes in. She. Yes, she. Can we try to read this person's name? A.
E.
Who?
Su. P. P. R. Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. That's Shakespeare. Yes. So that's how it will sound. It's a little different from how we would say it in English, right? We say Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Now that she, that is the added sound in katakana. Now the added sounds I'm about to share with you, they're not in your textbook, so you can make a note of it. When we cover typing, I will also share it to you in a document. So you don't have to copy, but if you want it for your reference, you can copy it down. Of course, the slides are also available. You can download it from your Hayakawa login. Now, since we're adding she, we can also get the voiced form of the same thing, which is, how can we pronounce it? J, right? J. Now, it's a little hard to read this now. There's a couple of rules we still have to cover in Japanese before we can read it. So we'll come back to the reading part. This is she, this is J. And? Che. Yes, this is chesu. Chesu. the board game, yes? Chess. Chessu. What characters are being used?
T,
T
A.
A.
and A. Che. Yes. We're following the same pattern. Yes. Yes. Same pattern, right? You're taking that E sound, removing the E sound and replacing it with the A sound. Couple of other examples. Now, these sounds don't exist in Japanese, native Japanese. Tu and du, right? Tu and du. They have accommodated it how? What character is this?
To,
To and
U.
u. Imagine this is being contracted because you're adding a small u. Remember, these are all small size characters, like ya, you, and yo, which we saw last week. So to plus small u becomes tu.
Tu.
For example, the word
Patu.
ha, right?
Tu.
Tattoo, right? It's like
Tattoo.
tattoo. It's tattoo, right? It would sound very weird if you didn't use this sound. If you say tsu, tatsu, it's not so clear. So they tried to accommodate this sound. When you voice the same thing, it becomes
Do.
do. Right? For example, just read this first part. He,
In,
mm,
do.
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 Hindu.
Into.
Yes, Hindu. Hindu, right? The religion, it's the name of it. This kyo part, it's in hiragana. Kyo, it's elongated. Kyo, right? First you're writing kyo, and then we're elongating it. We're going to learn about this today. Yes, so kyo means religion. It's a Japanese word. So that is written in hiragana. Hindu is obviously not a Japanese word. So it's written in katakana. Then combined together, Hindu kyo, Hindu religion. Yes, Hindu. So tu and do are accommodated like this. Please ignore this brackets for now. That's for typing. In order to get this character when you're typing, you have to put in this combination. We'll see, we'll learn about that tomorrow. Now, similar to tu and do, you also have T and D.
D.
Right, those are T and D. Yes, how are we making this sound? This is
Te.
te,
E.
yes. Right, te plus E. But you're dropping the A sound. Instead, you're using the E sound. It becomes P. What sound is this?
Pa. T. Party.
Party. Party. Yes, party. Party. Yes, party. If you take the same thing and you voice it, you get D. Can we try to read this?
This me.
E,
Z. Z. Ni.
ni. You can ignore this. Ra, do,
Do. Do. Do.
yes.
Do.
Disneylando.
Disneyland.
Disneyland. Yes. The word land in Japanese is always pronounced rando. Rando. Like Finland is Finlando. Disneylando. Yes. So they do have this. Yes.
Like
Yes.
how tea comes in, say like we don't have tea in Japanese, but how they combine it?
So they basically did this for the sake of foreign words. So there are still Japanese people who won't be able to make this sound, but they've just accommodated it in katakana. So maybe younger people who are learning from their young age, they start learning these sounds so that they can talk about foreign words little by little. Getting very hard, right? The world is like interacting so much. We have to talk to people from other countries. You know, when you go to work, you move to other countries, you work in other places. So they kind of included this on purpose. So in the future, Japanese people can try to make this sound. But actually, it's not there in hiragana. It's there only in katakana. So it's different concept, right? Even in Indian languages, we have that, right? There are some sounds, for example, in Tamil that don't belong there, that were brought in because other languages had it, like Sanskrit or something, like sh sound. Naturally, to Tamil, we have only cha and sa. We don't have sh. But that was added. Ha is also like that. Think of it something like that. In order to speak those sounds, make those words, they've included it in katakana. You also have a couple of useful sets, right? Now, if you remember, in core hiragana, katakana, you have only this sound that belongs to this group, h. The rest is all h sound, not h sound. They have tried to add these because it's very hard. When we read these words, we'll see, very hard in modern day to avoid these sounds. How are we making this sound first? This is
Hu.
hu plus
Ah.
small a, right? Ha, ha, ha,
E.
e,
Ru.
hairu. What do you think it is?
File.
Fire?
No, file. F-I-L.
Fire. Correct. Of course, they have a word for fire in Japanese. Yes, fire is ancient. File, as in a computer file, right? That's very modern. That's very new. So this is hairu. Hairu, file. Next sound is
Hi.
hi. Right? So fa, hi, fi,
In.
ra,
In. Do. Finrando.
I just gave this example, yes? Finlando. Yes, Finland. Finland. Yes, Finlando. Yes. Next one is
Pe.
Hey. As you can see, the corresponding katakana is used in small size. Te,
I.
I,
Su.
su. You can ignore this for now. We'll come back to that. This is b, ku. Yes, that's ku. Facebook.
Yes.
Facebook. A lot of modern things like this, they have to use katakana for it. That's why we need to learn katakana. Facebook. And lastly, ho,
Ho.
right?
Hu. Ho.
Ho, ru,
Ni. Da. Da.
da is correct. Yes, this is
Ru.
ha. When we voice it, it becomes da. Da.
Ho.
Da. What is that?
Hold.
Yes, this is file and this is folder. Hairu, horuda. Horuda. Yes? Yeah. That's a matter of practice. We have to, mispronouncing in the sense, the Japanese pronunciation. That's because it's hard for them to make the same English sounds. They don't have it in their, it's like in Indian English. We don't pronounce English the way Americans do or the way British do, right? It sounds different because our mother tongue will affect the way we can speak English. It's the same for Japanese people. But the number of sounds they have is so few. So it's stronger, more noticeable for them than it is for us. That's why it sounds so different because they don't have la sound. It's very hard for them to make that sound too. So they won't say fold. It's very hard. So foru. And that la, they can't leave it without adding some vowel sound at the end. Even in Indian languages, we do that sometimes, right? We'll have that u or a at the end. Same thing. Daijoubu desu ka?
Daijoubu.
We have a couple of other sets. They're not all that important. You'll see them in some rare words like wedding dress, wedding. But they have wedding in Japanese. They have a word for that. So it depends. Now, modern Japan, not everybody does a traditional Japanese wedding anymore. They all have this Western style with a dress. Even if they're not Christian, they may do it at a church. Yes. So wedding dress has become a pan-Japan concept. It doesn't matter what your religion is. Many of them like to wear wedding dress. So things like that, they use katakana for. Yes. We can come back to this later. These aren't very important, but you can make a note. How is this combination happening? U plus
E.
E. U plus A, U plus O. Okay. So we, wo. Because there's this wo sound, the actual character, we don't use it for the sound. They have a separate way of making this. Mostly it will be seen in the names of people, like Walt, the English name Walt, Oruto. This is how they pronounce it in Japanese. Oruto. Like Walt Disney, Oruto Disney.
Sensei,
Yes.
use the bathroom.
Please go ahead. And one last set you should know about, the V sound. V, right? Now, V in languages where we do have it, it's different from W and B. Now, in W, V, our lips don't make contact with our teeth, right? No contact. In B, both lips make contact. In V, it's something in between. One lip makes bottom lip makes contact with upper teeth. That's how you make this sound. This is quite difficult for Japanese people. Many of them still don't do this. They have accommodated it because there are many words in modern language that need V sound. COVID, for example, virus, right? These are words everybody uses, computer virus, COVID-19. So they have accommodated. Some of them still struggle. So if they cannot make the sound, they just substitute it with B sound. This is common in India also, right? Like sometimes in places, instead of Vidya, they say Vidya, because they don't have V sound. Like in North, like I think in Bengali, they do that. So it's not strange because they're kind of connected. This is one lip, this is two lips. That's the only difference. For example, the name of the country Vietnam. Vietnam, right?
Vietnam.
It's Betonamu. Betonamu. Yes.
No.
Yes, do you remember na? Na
No. E.
and mu?
No.
Betonamu. So they don't say V sound at all. It's a very old word. It's a very old country, right? They've had this word for a long time. They added V sound only very recently. So things like virus, they say virus. And COVID, that uses V. But older words tend to use B. How are we making this V character? This is U with voicing. Yes? Plus A. V. It's a very funny concept for them too. So anyway, it's a little hard to learn this. Just make a note of it. You can come back to it later. It's not very urgent. Now we'll come to the more interesting things that are left in learning how to read Japanese. This is a very important concept. What character is this?
This is
Right? One is hiragana, the other is katakana. Depends on what word you're writing. If the word you're writing is in hiragana, you'll use hiragana. The word you're writing is katakana, you use the katakana one. But it's small in size. This is very, very important. Please pay attention. This whole part is extremely important. If you don't know this, you will be reading Japanese wrong for the rest of your life. Now, this small tsu, it appears before, you don't have to memorize this. It appears before ka sound, sa sound, ta sound, and pa sound in Japanese, right? Ka, sa, ta, and ha. Any of these sounds, it may appear before in hiragana. In katakana, the voiced equivalent is also possible. It may appear before ga, za, da, and ba. It may. That's the pattern. In katakana, it will be small katakanatsu. In hiragana, it will be small hiraganatsu. And what is it used for? It's called consonant doubling or gemination. You don't have to remember the word. I will say double consonant. You can remember it that way. And what do I mean by double consonant? that extra stress when you give in the middle of a word for a consonant sound, it's consonant doubling. Yes, when you hold for extra time in one consonant. So the tricky part is how to read the word. So we're going to practice it. But the most important thing is when you see a small su, please do not read it as su. It does not have a sound anymore. It's just a symbol. And that symbol is telling you that you have to take some consonant and give some extra stress. Once we see it in practice, it will make more sense. Yes. So this is an example in hiragana. First, tell me what these two big kana mean. This is
He.
yes. He,
Who.
Su.
who. Yes.
Who.
So this, we don't read it as su because it's small in size. If it's big, you have to read su. If it's small, don't pronounce as su. It's a fundamental rule in Japanese. Don't pronounce as su. Instead, the next sound, whatever consonant it starts, you have to double. Kippu.
Kippu.
You can repeat it. Kippu.
Kippu.
Fantastic. It's very comfortable for Indians because we do this in almost all our languages. You're just holding that position in this consonant for a little extra time. It's not kipu, it's kippu.
Kippu.
Can I have everyone online also repeat it once? Kippu.
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 Fantastic. Yes?
What's the meaning of kippu?
Kippu means ticket. Like a train ticket. Kippu. Let's try the next one. This is
Zoo.
zoo, right? Z.
Zui.
This is
To.
To.
what happens?
Zutto.
To.
Zutto. Zutto. Zutto.
Zutto.
It's not zutto, it's zutto. Perfect. Yes? Zutto means a lot of things. One of them is always. Or for a long period of time. Like, oh, I've been waiting for a long time. I've been standing here. Or it can also be for a long distance. Oh, it's so far, way far away from here. You can use it for various things. One of the main uses is for time. So zutto. Yeah. So the main thing is you're bringing your tongue and your lips into the position for that next consonant, and you hold it for just that little extra time. Let's try in katakana, shall we? What sound is this?
Petto.
He,
To.
to,
Petto.
petto. What do you think it means?
Pet.
Pet, right? Your, dogs and cats and whatnot. Domestic animals that you keep at home. Petto. Petto. The next one?
Beddo.
Yes.
B.
Beddo.
Beddo.
Beddo. Yes, it's bed. Yes, beddo. Now, might beg the question, don't Japanese people have beds? Why they have to use English word? So the Japanese custom is to use futon. Yes, futon. They put it on the floor and sleep. That is the traditional way. So the foreign concept of a bed came in much later, one that is elevated from the ground. It's the same for us in India also, right? So beddo. And lastly,
Chi.
chi,
Ke.
ke, sorry if I'm blocking,
Keto. Chiketto.
this sound has to be doubled, right?
Chiketto.
Chiketto. Chiketto. So just like in India, sorry, even if they have words, native words for the same thing, sometimes they like to use the English word. Yes. So, yes.
The double consonant word is missing. So, is there any meaning for that word?
That is this sound. Oh, you mean if you remove the tsu? Yeah. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes it means something different. So we have to be careful. I'll give an example very soon. So petto, beddo, chiquetto. Yes, can we repeat it once? Petto,
Petto,
beddo.
beddo, chiquetto.
Fantastic. Let's read some more examples. You need practice with this, yes? So this is the main difference. This is the height of a big tsu. This is a small tsu. Yeah, same in katakana. So you have to be able to tell the difference when you read it on page. Please do not read this as tsu. It's not tsu. Yeah, this is tsu. Let's try reading these words, shall we? First sound is
K.
K.
Ko.
Ko.
In. Kekkon.
Yes.
Kekkon.
Kekkon. Yes. I think I mentioned this once before. Marriage. It's the noun form that is marriage. The institute of marriage is kekkon. They do have a verb form also. We'll learn all that later on. Yes, to be married, to get married, and so on. So kekkon. Yes. This is an example of the ka sound getting double. Kekkon. Yes. Next one is
Za.
Za.
The
Chi. Zachi.
Yeah. You want to hold the sh sound. Yes.
Zashi.
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 Fantastic. We're holding that sh sound. Yeah. Zashi. We already did these two. Yes. How do we read them?
Jutto.
Dutto.
Kippu.
Kippu.
Kippu. Yes.
Kippu.
Dutto. Kippu.
Kippu.
Excellent.
To, kitto.
Quickly, these two, we already read them.
Petto.
Petto.
Beddo.
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 It's not chiquetto.
Ba.
Ba. Yes.
Gu.
Bagu.
Bagu. Oh.
Bag. Bag.
Bug.
Actually, they have a word for bag, like the bag you carry in Japanese too. So this is more often used for like a computer bug, right? Bug. Yes, bugs that you have to fix. No? Yes. Great. So just to illustrate, right? The two are not the same. When you remove the tsu, sometimes it's a different word and it means something totally different. So we have to be careful. For example, what does this say?
Kitte.
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 It's a postal stamp. Yes. Kitte. What does this say?
Kitte.
Kitte.
Kitte. It means come. Yes. Obviously, two completely different meanings. So we have to be a bit careful. Yes. Kitte. Kitte. The duration of the sound is also more, right? When you add this, it's a longer word. It's like an extra half syllable that you're adding. Just a couple more examples to feel the difference.
Kippu. Kippu.
Yes. Kippu versus
Kippu.
kippu. Yes. Kippu, kippu. Kippu is not a word. This is chi.
Ke.
Ke.
To.
Ho. Chiquetto versus chiquetto. You can feel it's a lot faster, right? Chiquetto. Take that extra time. Chiquetto. Yeah, of course, chiquetto is not a word. Just examples.
Chitto, chitto.
Yes. Daijoubu desu ka?
Daijoubu.
Daijo.
Resounding Japanese.
Daijoubu desu.
Great. Now we go into the last rule before we finish learning exactly how to read Japanese, and that is vowel elongation. So we learned how to make consonants longer. What we're going to see is how to write long vowel sounds. The rules are different for hiragana and katakana. Katakana is very easy. What is this? A spoon, right? Hi.
Spoon.
Spoon.
Spoon. Spoon. Yes? So you're adding this. This is called an elongation mark. This is a special symbol. It's called an elongation mark. It looks a bit like the kanji for one, ichi. But when it comes inside katakana, you can know this is the only way to read it. Basically, it means you're making that previous vowel sound longer. You're dragging it. So it's very easy to understand. Yeah. So, only u. U. We'll repeat it once. Spoon.
Spoon.
Now, curry.
Curry.
Yes. Many of you know about this. Ka, re,
Re.
kare, kare, kare. Yeah, curry. So the Japanese concept of curry, it came from India, of course. But what they mean by curry in Japan is very different from what we mean by curry here. So it is a dish, a special dish of its own, prepared in a very specific way. They have only one thing called curry, basically. Whereas for us, like a bunch of different things are curry. So don't mistake this with our Indian curry. Yes, kare. It's a special dish. Kare. Yes. This is different from. Can we read it?
Curry. Curry.
This is not kare. It's just kare. Yes. This is kare. This is kare.
Curry.
Kare. Kare means he. I've written it in which script?
Hiragana.
It's hiragana, right?
Hiragana.
It's a Japanese word. It means he. In some situations, it can mean boyfriend. So please use it carefully. Yes.
Coffee.
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 Yes. Ko,
He.
he, right?
Oh, he.
There's no first sound. Yeah. Kohi. Kohi. So obviously coffee has come into Japan before they invented the other fa sounds. So they don't have fa here. They say kohi. Kohi. Both are elongated, right? O, hi. Dozo. Chi,
Cheese.
cheese. Cheese. Yeah, shower.
Shower.
Yes. Sha.
Wa.
Shower. Shower. So a traditional Japanese bath, it's like a small tub. Not tub either. Hot springs, but it's kind of modeled on that. Obviously, not everybody has a hot spring in their house. They'll have a tub.
Hot spring, ma'am.
You've been to?
Yeah, in Thailand we tried.
Wow, how was it?
It was good, ma'am. It's a medicinal water.
Yeah, it must be very relaxing. Wow, that's amazing. I haven't been to one yet. I'd like to try though. It's supposed to be very relaxing for the muscles. So the Japanese bath is usually immersing yourself in water for a period of time and then getting out. So shower is a foreign concept to them, hence shower. Now this is katakana. Pretty simple, right? We're just adding that dash after the sound that we want to make long. Hiragana. Ah, yes, They say cha. Yeah, actually ocha. Ocha. Chai, we say, right? It's like that. So the word tea in English, not just English, like generally it's come from China, depending on the route that it went across the world. In some parts of the world, it's called with the T sound, tea. And in some parts of the world, it's called with the cha sound, cha. Japan is one of those belonging to this group, like India. Yes? எதுக்கு? Hyphen, hyphen use பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. They don't have a hyphen in Japanese. Basically, its function is elongation in katakana. It's ocha. Yes. The O is added for respect. Cha is tea. Yes? Daijoubu desu ka? Great. Now, coming to hiragana, this is a bit tricky. Some are very easy, some are a bit challenging. Now, let's see. Now, the word in hiragana that is in Japanese for mother.
Oka sound.
Yes, many of you know. O-ka-sa. That a sound has to be long, right? Oka-san. Long sound is a, right? In hiragana, what we do is we add an a there. Please do not read this as oka-asan. It's not oka-asan, it's oka. Everybody online, you can also repeat it once. Oka-san.
Oka-san.
Son.
Hi. That's a good question, very good question. In most cases, it's going to be elongation, especially in this stage when we're learning the basic words, it's going to be elongation. There are some cases where it will be split, but that will be like higher level vocabulary, and you'll be using kanji at that time. So from that, you will be able to tell the difference. Good question, though. So here, when you see, generally you can elongate, it's okay. Oka-san. Okay. O is for respect. San is also for respect. Yeah, if you watch Japanese movies or drama, anime, they sometimes drop the O. And instead of san, sometimes they use something like chan, something. Yes?
For otasan, will ta be long?
It's oto-san, right? Father, yeah? Yes, it is. We'll be seeing that. So respect in Japanese, how you call your mother, it's up to you, right? We all have our ways of calling her. Some people call by name also. So that O, that san, it may change, but you'll never call your mother just ka, okay? You need to have something. Ka-san, ka-chan, something has to be. You cannot just leave it out. Okay. This is one example. Let's look at one more example. Yeah. Was there a question? Now this is grandmother. O,
Ba.
oba-san. The long sound is We'll write it the same way. Please go ahead and read it.
Oba-san.
Oba-san. Oba-san. Yes. Yes, that's why it's marked as incorrect. Yes. So we don't do this for hiragana. We have to do this for hiragana. Yeah. Oba-san. You can use this for any like really old ladies also. Like you go to a shop, there's a very old woman, but please be careful. You don't want to insult a middle-aged woman by calling her old. Yes. Oba-san, it's like granny. Yes, grandmother. Next is the word for elder brother. Elder brother?
Oni-san. Oni-san.
Oni-san. The long sound is E, right? We're elongating E here. Oni-san. So far it's easy. For A, we use A. For E, we use E. Yeah? Uncle.
Oji-san.
Sorry, not uncle, grandfather. Yes. If we don't elongate it, it's uncle. Oji-san is uncle. Oji-san is grandfather. Oji-san. We're elongating with E. The same applies for grandmother. By the way, if we don't elongate, if we just say Oba-san,
Aunt.
aunt. Yes. Yes. Oba, but we're not elongating it. Oba-san is aunt. Or auntie. Yes. You can use it for middle-aged women also, even if you're not related, just like we do in India. Yes. Auntie. Like that. So Oji-san versus Oji-san. We're elongating the E with the E character. Now we're elongating U sound. This is Fu, Se, U.
Whosen. Ooh.
Husen. Husen. It means a balloon. Yes. Husen. Elongate U sound with U character. Here's another example. Numbers, when we want to talk about numbers as a group, right? The word is
Uji.
Suji. Rava. Yes. Suji.
Uji.
Suji. Suji. We're going to consistently use that U sound, right? It's not suji, it's suji. Yeah. Till now, it's easy. A elongated with A, E elongated with E, U with U. Now things are going to get messy. Yeah? A,
Ga.
ga. When you elongate, ega,
Egg.
it means a movie. Yes, a film or a movie. Yes, ega. Ega. Now, by the rule we have followed, we should be using a character here, but we don't use. In hiragana, when you want to elongate a sound also, you use e character. Yes. So even though it's written like this, you don't pronounce it as eiga. No. That E is not E. It's not even silent. It's elongating the A. It's ega. Yeah. Ega. Yes. Online also, you can repeat it once. Ega.
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 And like any language worth its salt, there are exceptions. Yes. So we're going to see that. The word for elder sister, does anyone know it?
One-san.
Yes.
Ne.
One-san. One-san. Elder sister. This one is written with A. But it's a bit rare. This kind of case where you elongate A with A is a bit rare in Japanese language. This is the standard. This is the general practice. This is just an exception. Yes. Whenever there's an exception, I will tell you. Normally, you can follow this rule. I'll give another couple of more useful examples. A clock.
Okay.
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 Okay. Yes. Okay. Not touke. It's the A that's getting elongated. So, toke. It's fine. Toke.
Okay.
Long sound is A. We should elongate with E. So this is how we write it. Tokei. But don't say tokei. It's toke. Yes, online, you can repeat once, everybody. Toke.
Okay.
Yes, toke.
Okay. Okay.
A sound
Hmm.
elongated using E character. Now, a very convenient and popular example.
Sensei.
Yes, perfect. Sensei. Yes. The long sound is A, but you write it with E. That's why in English, people write it like this. This is the reason. We never say sensei. We always say sensei. The reason it's written that way is because that's how it's written in hiragana, even though that sound is not E. Okay? So you can use this as your core example to help remember this rule. Yeah, A sound, you write with E to elongate. Sensei. Now, what's the last?
Family.
Sorry, which vowel is left? O sound, right? Yes. Yes.
Kodomo.
Father is
Oto-san.
oto-san. Sorry. Oto-san. Oto-san. So we've seen A is elongated with A, E with E, U with U, I, right? A is elongated with the E character. A with E character. Now O. Okay? Oto-san no O. The long sound is O, but we don't elongate it with O. We elongate it with U. Yes, correct. This is correct. Oto-san. It's not otou-san, it's oto-san. Can I have everyone online repeat once too? Oto-san.
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 Yes.
Oto-san.
I don't know why it doesn't want me to cross the F. Okay. Oto-san. Yes. Now, just like with the previous case, there are several exceptions. The word for ice in Japanese is
Kori.
kori. Kori. It's a long O sound, right? O, kori. We can elongate this with O. Now you might wonder, okay, which one should I use where? Like in English, which is a lot more confusing because spelling in English is annoying, you have to memorize when you learn the word. When you learn the word, learn the exact spelling, whether I should use U or O, whether I should use E or A. It's just along with the word, you can learn it. If you don't know the spelling of the word, you just hear it somewhere. Either you can look it up or you can follow the general pattern. Most cases, general pattern will be this. In the case of A sound, E, that's general. In the case of O sound, U is general. This is the exception. The number of exceptions in the O case is a lot more than the number of exceptions in the A case. This is more common. You'll see this quite often. Anytime we learn a word with this spelling, I will tell you about it. Yes. So this is O. And we're going to see a couple more examples. The word for candle is
Rose. Toku.
rosoku.
Rose.
Rosoku.
Rosoku.
Yes. This is with U. Yeah. Rosoku. Rosoku. The word for cleaning.
Soji.
So,
Ji.
soji.
Oji.
Long sound is O. We use E. Yeah. As I said, this is the common pattern. Like 80–90% of the time, it's going to be U. Soji. Yeah. So a quick summary of what we just saw. In hiragana, elongation rule. Yes. Katakana, we just use the dash. Only in hiragana, you have to use a character. Right? So for A, we use A. The word is, you can read it.
Okasa.
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 Okatsu.
Okasa.
Okasa.
For E,
Onisa.
Onisa.
Oni-san. For U, Hu. Sorry.
Husen. Husen.
Usen.
Hu-sen. For A,
Okay. Okay.
Toke.
Onesan.
One-san. Yes. Toke, one-san. And for O,
Otosan.
Oto-san,
Kori.
Kori. Yes. This is the general pattern. Another way to remember this. Now, for this one, I gave the example of sensei, right? It's a common word. Everybody will remember. Similarly, you can use this word for this case.
I.
Ri,
Priya.
ya, to.
San.
It's like this. Elongation. That's why in English, sometimes
Arigato.
you see people spell it with a U at the end. It's actually that U. They're just writing it in English, but it's an elongation of O. Ne? Arigato. You can remember this rule with this example. So, toke, sensei, and oto-san, arigato. Hai, daijoubu desu ka?
Daijoubu desu. Daijoubu desu.
So these are the core rules. Now you have double consonant and elongated vowels. You're basically equipped to read Japanese. We just need one last rule we're going to look at, and that is the pronunciation of this character. Yes, this. What character is it? Ha, right? Now, when this character appears in a word, when this hiragana appears in a word, like this is the word for box,
Hako.
you read it as
Hako.
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 Hako. Hako means box. You read it as ha. It's part of a word. But this hiragana also has one more extremely important role in Japanese language as a particle. Now, particle is in Japanese something like prepositions and articles in English, like the, on, in, things like that. They're kind of little glues that hold the sentence together and make it make more sense. We'll learn about particles properly. It's a grammatical thing. But basically, when this character, when this hiragana is used as a particle, it's known as the topic marker. You don't have to know this right away. We'll be studying this next week. And you don't pronounce it as ha, you pronounce it as
Va.
va. Yes? Va. It will be standing on its own. It won't be part of a word. It'll be alone. So for example, when someone introduces themselves, they might use this sentence. How can we read this? So it says,
Watashi wa.
Watashi wa something. This is a
Desu.
blank. Desu. Watashi wa anuja desu. We'll learn it next week properly, why we're using it, what it means and all that. As you can see, in this watashi, the wa being used is wa proper. You won't use ha as wa in a word. Ha will be ha in a word, but ha as a particle will become wa. Watashi wa so-and-so desu. It stands separate, right? Watashi is a word. Your name is separate. Then this is kind of separate. That's how you know that it's being used as a particle. We'll learn more about it. It's not urgent. I'm just telling you that this is another important pronunciation point you have to remember. Yes?
What was the circles?
It's like the Japanese way of putting on blank. It's a blank space, actually. Because for them, it's like a character, right? So they fill it in with the character or something. So they use circles instead of underlines or blank. So we just have to keep this in mind. With that, the last stretch of today's class, we're going to practice reading with all these new rules. Yes, we're going to read some words. You already know some of them.
Neko.
Neko. Yes, it's a cat.
Inu.
Mm,
Inu.
Inu.
It's a dog. Yes, inu. How do you make it kitten or
Koneko. Koinu.
koneko, kitten? Koinu, puppy.
Tamago.
Tamago. Yes,
Go.
tamago.
Tamago.
Tamago, egg or eggs. As I mentioned, Japanese does not have singular versus plural. When you say tamago, it can mean one egg. It can also mean many eggs. It depends on the situation. There are ways to make it clear. If you want to say, I want 8 eggs, of course, you can say that. But it's not very important that the word tamago tells you it's singular or plural.
So, Tegami.
He
Ga.
ga ni. Tegami. It's a letter. Te means, do you remember? In hiragana, yes. And kami, actually the original form is kami, paper. Like in origami, right? So hand paper, it's paper, something you write by hand on paper. Yes, tegami. It means letter.
Sensei.
Sensei.
Sensei. This is new, right?
Gaku. Gakusei.
Gakusei. Gakusei. Yes, gakusei. This u sound. So of all the 5 vowel sounds in Japanese, u sound and e sound are considered weak vowels compared to the others. A, o, and a are considered a little stronger. U and e are a bit weak. Sometimes, because of this, u sound especially tends to get contracted. It's natural in Japanese speech. It's okay to pronounce it anyway. Like I said for desu, you can say desu or des, masu or mas. Similarly, you can say gaku or you can just say gak. Okay? Gakusei. You can repeat it once. Gakusei.
Gakusei.
This is nothing but a weak sound. Actually, gaku, that u will come very weakly. That is making your language sound more naturally Japanese, but there's nothing wrong in saying gakusei. That's also correct. Yes, gakusei. Hi. Now we're getting into tougher territory. This is
Yo. Yo.
kyo,
Yo. Yoshi.
kyo,
Shi.
Yo.
Kyoshitsu.
kyoshitsu, kyoshitsu. Means a classroom. Yeah. So this is an elongated O sound. That O sound comes from the yo in kyo, right? So kyo, kyoshitsu, kyoshitsu. Now this is how we get used to reading it. You know this one?
Hippu.
Yes.
It's
Right? We don't read this as kitsupu. It's hippu. And the next one is
Kitsu.
chi.
Chiketto. Chiketto.
Chiketto.
Yes. Chiketto. We don't pronounce it as tsu, right? It's small. So chiketto.
Tu.
Kippu. Yes? Is it okay?
You.
Yeah, good. This is?
You.
You.
Sorry.
You knew.
You.
Me. New.
Gyunyu. Gyunyu. Yes. So you have gyu, is elongating, sound. Again, same thing in the next one. Gyunyu is cow's milk. Yes. Looks even bigger.
U,
You,
B,
U, G,
bin,
be,
U, B, U, B, U, bin,
bin,
U, bin,
kyo, kyoku,
kyo,
bin kyoku,
U, bin,
yeah, it's a mouthful. Yubin kyoku. One more time. Yubin kyoku.
U, bin, Gyo, U, bin, Kyo,
It's a
U, bin, Kyo,
post office. Yeah. Yubin kyoku. Yeah.
Mom, mom, is it post office, mom?
Yeah, it's a post office. And the postal services are very famous in Japan. They're quite trustworthy. So, Yubin kyoku. Great. Speaking of Japan,
Nippon,
Nippon,
Nippon, Ho,
Nippon. That's true though. Japan does have another name that is, you have to write it differently though, right? Nihon. But what you need in Nippon is the double pa sound. So instead of ho, you're going to have to put the tsu and then like this, right? Nippon. Yes. So I'll maybe write it a bit bigger. Ni, small tsu to indicate the double pa sound coming up.
Ho, in,
Nippon. So this is Nihon, this is Nippon. Both are fine. When they use kanji, you can pronounce it either way. Doesn't matter. Wow, that was very fast.
U,
in, do,
Indo. India. Yes, Indo. Yeah. Ra,
Rajyo,
Ra, Ji.
Ho,
Yeah, that's unexpected, right?
Rajyo,
Radio. The word for radio.
Sa,
Yeah? Very good. This is Sa. This is
Sa, Sakka,
not Su, right?
Sakka,
Ka. Elongated, right?
Sakka,
Sakka. Sakka is soccer or football. It's different if you don't elongate this, right? If you just say sakka, it's a Japanese word meaning a writer. It's somebody who writes books. So sakka is different from sakka. This is sakka. Very popular sport in Japan. This is not yet popular, but it's getting there. What is it? Cricket, yes. How can we say it?
Ri,
Cricket,
Keto,
Ke-
To, Cricket,
Kuri,
Cricket.
Cricket,
So the popularity of cricket is spreading to other countries. We're going to have the World Cup in US, Japan. I've heard there are some small little leagues that are playing cricket. So
Tennis, tennis,
tennis. Yeah, it's a laptop.
Pa,
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 So,
Pa,
Is
so,
Paso,
Pasacon, Pasacon,
pasokon.
Pasakon,
Actually, it's a contraction. The full word is Personal computer. So personal computer became kom. So, personal computer. Now, unlike in English, when we contract things, we use letters, right? PC. McDonald's is McD's, right? But in Japanese, they take the full name and they shorten it to just some syllables of that name. So they say, I think, Makku. For McDonald's, they just say Makku. I think Starbucks is like Staba. Yeah.
Yeah, even
Starbucks is the full
smartphone
name.
is name.
They shorten it. So this is both PC and laptop. A small note on this, you do have a full word for laptop that is note pasokon. That is a note PC, notebook PC. That's the original word for laptop, right? Note pasokon, but people don't really say it anymore. Pasokon is enough. People assume it's a laptop these days. Yeah. So pasokon. Next one is
Race,
re, su,
to,
to.
ra, in.
There's no to. Restaurant. Restaurant. So this is one of those weak u sounds. Yeah. So restaurant is okay, but restaurant is more natural. It's like the French word restaurant. They don't pronounce the T at the end. Similarly, here there's no ta at the end. Yes, restaurant. Sorry, restaurant. As you can see, all of these everyday words are in katakana. They are in use on a daily basis in Japan, so you do need to know. Bit closer to home.
Dosa,
Dosa.
Joe.
Dosa. Dosa. Sorry if you haven't had breakfast.
biryani,
Biryani. Ne? Japanese people love biryani. The ones who can handle the spice, they love it. Who doesn't? Right? Hi. There's a little bit more. Now we'll try to read a bunch of words together. This is?
okay,
Okay. I'm not going to write it in English anymore, okay? We can read it. Toke.
A,
This is?
ka,
kabon,
Kaban.
kaban,
kaban.
Kaban. Okay, Kaban can be backpack. It can also be like a briefcase. It can also be a purse. It's a very flexible term. Kaban.
chocoreto,
Cho. It's not elongated, sorry. Cho. Right?
Yo.
So it's things like this. We tend to use the sound that's familiar for us. So chocolate, we go for that sound. It's kind of like an ah sound. But for them, it's o. Chocoreto. Hi.
key,
Key.
Fantastic.
Key.
Keiki.
Key.
Yes, cake. Keiki.
Kagi.
kagi,
Kagi. Yes, it's a key, right? Kagi. And lastly, hitte, right?
Hitte.
We have to hold it. Hitte. Yes. Daijoubu desu ka?
Daijoubu.
Now, I just want to review the words we saw last week. We'll quickly read it, and we'll cover these rules as we read it also, yes? Oh, previous slide. Yeah? Dosa. Yes. Yes. Oh, this is katakana. Ta. Yeah. これですね。カタカナです。ひらがなさ。Yes. 大丈夫。It happens. 大丈夫です。Yes. You will confuse hiragana and katakana. When it's a foreign word, you will use katakana throughout. Yeah. Yes?
Wednesday I have it also. Biryani is that the katakana or hiragana?
It's katakana. Okay, we can take a closer look. Hiragana ri. It'll have a hook and it'll be a bit more curvy. This is very straight. Right? So this is katakana, this is hiragana. Yes? Chatsuni. 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 Sometimes I've heard chattoni, but chatsuni mostly. I don't know if they talk about raita in the first place. They're in it for this. But I guess raita. Raita is easy. Raita. Yes? Is there a question? I don't know if they have a variety. They know chatsuni. They know some is green, red, white. I honestly don't know what the exact Indian cuisine scene is in Japan today, but it has broadly improved. There are a lot of Indian restaurants now. There's a big Indian community in Japan too. So some of people I've known who have gone there are like, it feels like I'm in India sometimes because there's so many Indians now. So vegetarian food is easier to find. Indian food is easier to find in main cities or hubs with IT and stuff. Yes. Is it okay? Yeah.
Ma'am, one small question. In
Yes,
a
yes.
given word, can we mix both hiragana and katakana script, or it is not allowed?
So it depends on the breakup of the word. We saw an earlier case, right? Hindu kyo. In that case, it was Hindu religion. So for the Hindu part, it was in katakana. For religion part, it was in hiragana. Because kyo is a Japanese word. So usually only if it's like a portmanteau kind of word. One part is Japanese, one part is foreign. In that case, you can mix it together. But within that part, it usually won't get mixed up. So Hindu will be throughout in katakana. Kyo will be throughout in hiragana. Hi. Was there another question?
Ma'am, I have one question. So if I'm reading a new hiragana word, and if there's a vowel in between, how will I know it's a vowel elongation or just a sound?
Mostly it will be elongation if it fits into the rule. For example, if the a is appearing, the previous sound is also an a sound. Then it's mostly elongation. But if it's not an a sound, no, if it's an e sound, then you have to break it. So if it falls into that pattern, it will mostly be elongation. There are exceptions, but they are a bit rare. We will see them as we come across them.
Okay.
I'll just clean that up. Any other questions before we proceed? Daijoubu desu. Questions are very good. Questions are a sign that you're thinking. Yes? Hi. So I want to quickly revisit the words we saw last week, and I want to read it more carefully. Yes, this is
Hajimemasu.
hajimemasu. Okay? To begin. The opposite is
Owarimasu.
owarimasu. Okay? Hi. Yeah, please go ahead. Owarimasu. Yes. This is
Hai.
hi.
Iye.
Iye. This is an example of elongation, right? Long E sound. E followed by E.
Sumimasen.
Yes. Sumimasen. Yes. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Wakarimasen.
Wakari
Masen.
masen. Wakarimasen. Now we'll break this up.
Mo ichido onegaishimasu.
Yes.
Moikai onigaishimasu.
Mo ichido onegaishimasu. In that mo, this u is elongating that o sound. Yeah, so it's not mo, it's just mo. Long o sound. That's where it's coming from. Mo, long sound. Mo ichido onegaishimasu.
Otsikara Samadeshita.
Perfect. Otsukare sama deshita. Otsukare sama deshita. A small note in this, I didn't talk about it last week, but since we have a little time. Now, these are the 4 parts to this word. O, tsukare, sama, deshita. The O is added for respect because you're giving this as a compliment to someone else. You're telling them, oh, you've done a good job. You've got good work. So O is for respect. Tsukare means exhaustion or tiredness. So you're telling them, okay, you are exhausted. You've done a lot of work. Good job. Sama, it's like sun. Yeah. We use it for names, right? Exactly. Honorifics. Shimizu-san, Aruna-san, Priya-san, and so on. Instead of san, the next level, in fact, this is the highest level of respect you can show someone. Instead of san, you use sama. We don't use it in everyday conversation. It sounds weird. Yeah. It's like we don't go around calling everyone Mr. and Miss and Mrs. in real life, right? Just use their name. But it sounds a little too strict and polite and thing. Mostly people in service industry will use this. Like you work at a hospital, sorry, not a hospital, hotel, or a restaurant or something, you might call your customer as sama because customer is always the highest. But everyday conversation, we don't use sama. It sounds very strange. Here, on the other hand, it's part of a fixed expression. So sometimes we can use it. It doesn't sound weird. Some people will say san instead of sama. Otsukare-san. Sometimes. Lastly, this deshita is actually past tense. We'll learn about it much later. Because you're telling this, because you're telling this to someone after they finish their work, we're putting it in past tense. It's the past tense of desu. So you can also say otsukare-sama desu. Like, okay, they are going to keep working. You are leaving the office. You can say otsukare-sama desu instead of deshita. Hi.
Can I use this?
Yeah, please go ahead. Otsukare-sama deshita. Yes.
If I work and come out, so what would be my reply?
You can reply the same. If they're like the same equal position as you can reply the same thing. Usually we don't say this to people who are our superiors. So you can say arigatou gozaimasu or give the greeting oyasumi nasai, something like that. Otsukare-sama you can use with people in same position as you or lower position. Please don't use it to people who are higher position than you, whether at work or in college or school. It's a bit rude, like you are in no position to comment on their work. That's the belief. Yeah. Even if you want to praise them, like, who are you to praise that person? Yeah. So we don't praise our superiors. We just thank them and move on. Now coming to the next one.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu. The yo elongated, exactly. Ohayo gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Actually, this is particle. So it's a bit complicated. Originally, this was a full sentence. And then they shortened it and made it like this. So this was originally the particle wa. And kon means this. Nichi means day. It's like commenting, this day is a good day. Like that. So it got shortened and now it's konnichiwa. Please don't write that wa when you type this. You have to get used to that. Yeah, when you type, you have to use the right character. It should be this wa. The same applies for 1 second. Konban.
Konbanwa.
It's the same thing. Yeah? Your question was? Not always. In these expressions. Then we'll see how it works in sentences. These are not full sentences anymore. Mostly it will be like a period will follow afterwards. This is Japanese period, by the way. In English, it's like a dot. In Japanese, it's like a circle. Yeah, so konbanwa, konnichiwa. In these cases, it's always ha. How to actually use wa, we will be seeing that as we learn the grammar. Yes, of course, you know this one. Like this.
Oyasuminasai.
Yes. Everybody together.
Oyasuminasai.
Oyasuminasai. Yeah. In a lot of words, the O added in front is for respect. Ohayo gozaimasu. But you won't remove it. If you remove it, the meaning becomes a little different in modern day language because Ohayo gozaimasu is a very old expression. So it's always fixed like this. Of course.
Arigato.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Gozaimasu.
It's elongated, right? Arigato. O sound elongated with U.
Dozo. Do itashimasu.
Do
Itashimashite.
itashimashite. Do itashimashite. This do is elongated. Do itashimashite. Similarly,
Dozo.
dozo. Dozo. A lot of words like this in Japanese, you may even know some. Like those of you who've learned martial arts may know the word dojo. Yeah, a dojo. Yeah. So some of them have elongation, some of them don't. But these are nuances you learn only when you learn Japanese. Like the famous cities, Tokyo and Kyoto. They have elongation actually. So a way a Japanese person pronounces will be slightly different. An American might say Tokyo or Kyoto, like that. But it's different, right? We are going to learn the Japanese way. So elongation is like part of the language. We have to say it correctly. Now, this is what I showed. I mean, I didn't write it down on screen, so I thought I would do it today. So now you can read it.
Daijo.
Hi.
Jo. This.
Daijoubu desu. Yeah. This is how we're going to be writing it, right? So this is jo with elongation. Daijoubu. That's why I didn't write it last week. And now? Ka is like?
Question.
Now you might have noticed, after writing ka, I did not use a question mark. I use a full stop. In Japanese, basically, ka at the end has the meaning of question. So putting another question mark is not needed. You can do it, but you don't have to. It's up to you. It's redundant. You don't need it. But you can. There's nothing wrong. Many people do it today. So, daijoubu desu ka? Is it okay? Are you okay? And yes. Daijoubu desu. Of course, you can ask like I do in class, did you understand? Is it fine? Is it okay? Or if somebody is not feeling well, right? Are you okay? Something wrong? That time also you can ask. Daijoubu desu ka? Daijoubu desu. It's a very useful expression. Even when you want to check with someone about their timing, their availability, like, oh, is Friday okay? Are you available? Is 5 o'clock okay? The way we use okay in English, you can use this. Okay? Around 5 o'clock, daijoubu desu ka? You can ask. Now, just a couple of small cultural things before we wrap up for the day. Now, I mentioned this already today, but just a gentle reminder. Using English alphabet, which is actually Latin script, right? For writing Japanese, it's called
Romaji.
It's here too. Ro-ma-ji. You might notice Roma is in which script? Katakana. This is hiragana. That's because Roma, Rome, right? That is a foreign word. Ji means character. And that is a Japanese word. So Romaji, like that, we can use them together. Romaji is when you use English to write Japanese. We're not going to be doing it anymore. Yes, only for the first couple of weeks, so we can get used to it. I was doing it. Going forward, you're going to get off of Romaji. They're crutches. They will slow down your Japanese learning. Yes, so let's try to stop that. Couple of other useful things for you to know about. Now we're going to start learning kanji eventually. As you can see, these are kanji. Basically, if you can't read it yet, it's kanji. Now, kanji, sometimes above kanji, so in vertical writing style, right? Sorry, verticals here. Horizontal writing style is yokogaki. This is tategaki. In tategaki, sometimes next to the kanji, to the right-hand side in small font, in hiragana will be given the pronunciation of that kanji, the way to read that kanji. This is what learners basically use. Even in Japan, they do this. Some kanji are so complex, even adult Japanese people can't read. So they will give what is known as, hi, Dozo, you can read it.
Rigana.
Rigana. Yeah. Furigana. In tategaki, it's like this. In yokogaki, it's written on top in small font. This is given in your textbook also. So you can see it, for example. But this is called furigana. Furigana is fantastic when you're learning, but very, again, it's going to become a crutch for you once you have learned a kanji. After you learn a kanji, try not to use furigana. You don't need to worry just yet. We're not learning kanji right away. But when we come to it, just keep this in mind. Yes? And we have a few minutes left. I thought I'll just talk a little bit about something cultural. So we were talking earlier about this whole san, sama thing, right? So I thought we could just talk about what other honorifics some of you may have heard of. So san is the generic one. If you don't know somebody well, even if you know them well, if you don't know what to call them, use san. That is going to be your main tool. It's the Phillips head of Japanese honorifics. Don't know what to use? Try that one first. But if you want to, if you get close to people and eventually you mingle with them, or even among your friends here in class, others who are learning Japanese, you can be more flexible, right? So what are some other honorifics you have heard of? Yes. Kun, that's one. Chan. Sama. Dono. Nice. Okay, so some of you have heard dono also. So let's look at some of these. I'll talk a little bit about them. So as I said, san is generic. Kun is masculine, right? So you generally don't use kun for women. If you use it, they will feel maybe uncomfortable, especially a Japanese woman. The only case kun is used for women is when a much older person, usually a man, like in a company, you have like your boss or superior, he'd be like 50 or 60 years old. He might use kun on a very youngish woman who's in her 20s maybe, or a teacher on a student. But even then, that's considered a little inappropriate sometimes. So kun, generally for boys, and not for boys who are older than you, right? It's either same status or lower status. By status, it could be your position or age, or if you're in school, junior, senior, that kind of thing. So girls may call their classmates with kun, boys. They may call young boys with kun. That being said, some boys don't like being called as kun because they feel it's like treating them as a child. So when you want to try to use this, get a sense for if that person wants to be called that or not. Any honorific in Japanese, except san, check if it's okay first before using it. Is it okay? May I use it? I feel like doing this. Then they may feel comfortable. If they don't feel comfortable, definitely we should respect their space. The next one is chan. Chan is like the kun equivalent for girls. It's like you feel really friendly with a girl. Of course, girls can use it on girls too. Always get permission first. You don't use it for superiors ever. It shows friendliness. Japanese people, friendliness takes time to get there sometimes. Yeah, you could spend your whole life knowing someone and never become friendly with them, right? Arm's distance is maintained. So you have to be a bit careful. So chan and kun, I generally advise not using it unless you really get to know that person and they're okay with it. The same applies for first name. A Japanese person, calling them by first name is something you don't do unless they give you the permission to do that. They may say, oh, you don't have to be so rigid. You can call me da-da-da. If they say that, fine. If you really feel so inclined, you can ask them. But again, we should respect their space. Yeah. Now, the last couple are sama and dono. I mentioned sama earlier, right? Don't use it in everyday conversation. It sounds very weird. Sometimes we use it even like to be rude to someone, or you're behaving like you're some kind of queen or king. That time they use sama. Oh, I didn't want to do that to you, so-and-so sama. But it's like, sounds weird. Dono is outdated. It's not used in modern Japanese. It's from feudal times. So if you like samurai movies and TV shows and things, you might hear dono in that. Dono was considered as high as sama once upon a time. So it shows they're giving that much respect, but we don't use it anymore. If you use it today, they'll look at you like, oh, you watch too many samurai movies. Yeah. So that is honorifics. Now, apart from that, something that's fun, I think a lot of people hear this when they watch anime or drama or movies. The way Japanese people call other people like you, right? We learned one word so far is anata. Anata. Well, it's in your textbook. We'll learn it properly later. Now we're just talking. So anata is the standard word. It's considered a little feminine, like the person using it is usually female, but men can use it. That being said, we don't say you to Japanese people, right? It's pointing. We don't like to point. So better to use their name, Raja-san, Devi-san, Suzuki-san, and so on. Just use, even if you're talking directly to that person, say their name and san, and then keep talking. You don't have to say anata wa. How about you? Raja-san? How about you? That's more natural. Apart from anata, has anyone heard any other? Yeah. Omae? Omae. Omae. The wa in that is the particle actually. So omae. Boku is I. We'll come to that. Kimi. Yeah. Kimi no na wa. There's a famous movie. Yeah. Omae, kimi. Then there's even older words like onore and things like that. Onore is not used in modern language. Kimi, omae are considered even ruder than anata. You use it only for people who you're like, who you can feel that sense of superiority over. So when you go back to watch this stuff, look for it. When somebody uses these words, it shows how they feel about the other person. It's not just you, it's like you. Okay? Or it's like you. Anata is also the term of endearment that women use for their husbands. So it has that additional tone. It's okay, you can use it to a random stranger. They won't think anything. But it has that additional tone. Yeah? So that makes it more interesting. When you go back, all those layers come out. Omae used to be very respectful a couple hundred years ago. Today, it's very rude. Yeah? So we don't want to use it even by accident. Somebody mentioned boku. Now, just like you have many words for you, there are so many words for I. Watashi, boku, ore. Any others?
Ma'am, what does ureva mean?
Sorry?
What does ureva mean?
Omae.
Ureva.
Ore. Ore means I.
Oh.
Ore is I. So ore is the very masculine, gruff version of I. Right? It's like when a boy or a man wants to emphasize his manliness, they will use ore. That's why all the male protagonists of all the shonen anime will use ore. Monkey D. Luffy, Naruto, all of them will use ore because they want to, they're showing that masculinity. Boku is also masculine, but it's softer. It's a bit polite also. So softer men tend to use boku when they don't want to be aggressive. It's like you're showing softness to the other person. So that also shows how they exhibit themselves to the world. So all this is all packed in Japanese, how I'm projecting myself to others and how I think of others in the way I call them. It's very stratified and very interesting. So don't use ore in polite, everyday conversation. You can, like, if you're talking to people your age, it's okay, but not to superiors, not in the workplace. Watashi is the standard. You don't know what to use watashi. Women usually don't use boku, but girls who are in their teenage years may use it to show that they're kind of tomboyish. Like they don't want to project themselves as feminine. So they will choose to use boku sometimes. It's a bit rare. Watashi also has some variants. You might have heard of watakushi. Watakushi. It's the most formal way of saying watashi. So if you go to a job interview, you can use that one instead of watashi. It shows that you're very formal. You've got yourself together. Yeah, you're projecting yourself as a very professional person. So I will share the words. I'll put it up on the screen when we meet again. We can look at the words, but I didn't want to make it too formal today. So I just wanted to share that little bit. It's the weekend. Some of you may like watching stuff, right? Like on Netflix or something. You can listen for this, yeah, and think about the layers of relationships that are coming out in these simple terms that they're using. Sometimes boys will call a girl Chan without asking her, and that shows that he wants to be friendly with her without her permission. All of that is telling us about relationship dynamics. It's very interesting and beautiful, especially coming from a culture where we don't even think about these things. We just call people by first name here. Right? Sometimes we give nicknames, but at best. And everybody uses our nickname. Right? You have a long name, Anupama, everybody calls you Anu. Nobody asks you for your permission. So it's very different in that sense, culturally. So that's it. I just wanted to share that before we closed for today. Daijoubu desu ka? Great. If there's any questions you can ask, we can close with this today. And remember, typing tomorrow. Please have your laptops with Japanese input ready. Hai. Arigatou gozaimashita.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
はい。
ありがとうございます。
はい、ありがとうございます。
Sensei,
Yes.
I have a question. Is school considered disrespectful for older people?
Yes. You have to use it only with somebody is your same age or something, or younger is okay.
But
Um,
is Chan also like disrespectful for older people?
Yeah. Definitely. Maybe if they're just 1 or 2 years older than you, it's okay. Like if they don't feel superior to you, it's okay. But 5 years, 10 years, then you should ask first. Maybe they're okay. Some people don't care about all that. But some people are sensitive, no? So, hi. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Sensei, if someone is, if I felt something bad and they ask me, if I really felt bad, how can I reply to
Maybe you can say EA.
But sometimes it means like
Not in this case. If they say daijoubu desu ka, EA, I have a stomachache, something, then you can say EA and they'll understand you mean no. So it's no problem. We'll learn how to say those things later. Yeah.
Sumimasen sensei.
Just 1 second. Yes?
Yeah, like I have a doubt with we call father as Oto-san, and I have seen in other anime like they say Oyaji.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
they both same or
It's a
different?
similar meaning.
arigato.
Okay.
So just like how like omae and things like that, you have different ways of saying you and I. We also have different ways of referring to one's own parents. So for father, oyaji is there, and for mother, there's fukuro. These are considered kind of rough, slangish ways that boys call their mothers. Usually it's not used by women also, only boys. So it's more casual, and they show that they're kind of rough. They're kind of, they're not very behaved boys when they talk like that. It's a little disrespectful, but mostly only in anime. Like in real life, very few people talk like that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Got it.
Arigatou gozaimasu, sensei.
Hi, arigatou gozaimasu. Hi, arigatou gozaimasu. Hi, sorry. Yes?
Arigato.
Google Chat. நீங்க ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? That is, இப்போ நீங்க உங்களுக்கு Zoom link எங்க ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணீங்கன்னு ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? இந்த ஹேக்கவா வெப்சைட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு அந்த Zoom link இருக்கிற இடத்துலயே Google Classroomனு ஒரு லோகோ இருக்கும். அதுல நீங்க கிளிக் பண்ணீங்கன்னா ஜாயின் பண்ண முடியும். So click பண்ணிட்டு join பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா once you log into your Google, I think mailலயும் இருந்திருக்கலாம் because actually the different procedure for online and physical student. நீங்க வேணா கீழ ஒரு தடவை admin ஓட check பண்ணிடுங்க. They can confirm for you. Hi, arigatou gozaimasu. Hi, arigatou gozaimasu.
ありがとうございます。